Media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I want to talk a little bit about immigration. I know it's something we never talk about here on the channel, but let's be honest, folks. It's a major problem in Canada right now. In fact, you've got, and we're going to touch on it later in the story, but you've got people like Mark Miller's talking around saying that, hey, there's almost 5 million temporary and refugee citizens or people in the country, and I shouldn't say citizens, they're not citizens, residing in Canada right now that have been told that by December of next year, of 2025, they are to pack up and leave Canada, and that they're just going to take them at their words. Again, we're gonna cover that. So please go home. Please don't stick around. And well, of course, you all know how being polite in Canada works out. Well, Pierre Poilievre chiming in over the weekend about his actual stance on immigration, where he stands on immigration, and it's refreshing, given that his wife is an immigrant. I want to play what Pierre had to say here today. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. But if you guys are enjoying the video content, make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment inside. It helps us in the old algorithm. Let's take a look at what Pierre has to say. Pierre was asked if he could put a cap on the number of refugees Canada accepts. Real refugees? I love real refugees. But I have no time for people who lie to come into our country. Our country was built in large part by real refugees who were genuinely fleeing danger, like my wife, and that is the problem we have to cut off. And when we do, we can get back to normal levels of refugee accounts that we had before Justin Trudeau, the numbers that we can absorb, care for, and employ, and that's what we will do when I'm Prime Minister. I know you're going to hear the same quote here, but let's just play it for context's sake.
Real refugees? I love real refugees. Our country was built in large part by real refugees who were genuinely fleeing danger, like my wife. But I have no time for people who lie to come into our country, and that is the problem we have to cut off. And when we do, we can get back to the normal levels of refugee counts that we had before Justin Trudeau, the numbers that we can absorb, care for, and employ. And that's what we will do when I'm Prime Minister.
That is the best statement we could be getting from anybody who hopes to lead this country coming up next. Now, barring a cataclysmic event, Pierre Poilievre is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. The numbers speak for themselves. So the sooner people stop complaining about it, say, well, I don't trust this, I don't like that. It doesn't matter what you like or don't like. This is the future of Canada. What we need to start doing is holding these promises to account. We want those 5 million refugees to go so that Canadians can get doctors, so that crime starts to lower in our country, so we can get some homes built, fix the actual problems. We didn't have issues with Roxham Road before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have mass crime in tent cities in our streets before Justin Trudeau. The problem is now you've got this huge sympathy cry going out for migrants, being told they should be allowed to stick around, allowed to stay. In the Maritimes, you have thousands of temporary foreign workers protesting, saying we have the right to stay in Canada. No, it's in the name, temporary. That means you're only here for a short period of time and you go back. Look at this post coming out by Sheldon over on Twitter. Mark Miller thinks the foreign students, with those that are expiring visas are going to voluntarily leave over the next 13 months. Left with no other option, we started a 24/7 encampment protest, and our demands are blank. Let's take a listen to this nonsense.
But left with no other option, we started a 24/7 encampment protest on August 30th near the busiest highway in Brampton to build public support and push for our demands.
Good enough to stay. Good enough to what? Good enough to stay. Good enough to what? Good enough to stay. Workers unity, long live. Long live, long live. Workers unity, long live. Long live, long live. Workers unity, long live. Long live, long live.
Labor. Our demands are simple and logical. We ask the Canadian government to act swiftly on one, granting work permit extension to those whose work permits are expiring in 2024 and 2025, ensure a fair pathway to permanent residency, and end labor market assessment-based exploitation.
No. How's that? 2 letters. No. N-O. It's not happening. Pack your bags. Time to go home. Here's the problem. Here's what we're starting to see in this country. It's full invasion. They just want to take over. I showed this on Friday Night Fringe stream, which, by the way, if you haven't started joining us on those streams yet, you should hang out with myself and my wife, Mrs. Fringe, in those streams. These are the kind of things we go over. It says, Vancouver looks like India now. This is the airport. Sadly, they are all mass arrivals and not mass deportations. Here it says, POV, you live in Vancouver, BC. Take a look at this. Look at the escalator coming up. It's all migrants. Look at the streets. Does this look like Canada to anybody? Does this look like our country anymore? You've left the door open and all the strays are coming in. It's the old saying, you feed a stray and they never leave. This is the problem with Justin Trudeau's Canada. We've left the door open, all while, K-Stan regimes take over Canada, all while people are chanting death to Canada in the streets. We just keep it pouring in. Part of the problem we're running into now, Harrison Faulkner tweets out here, immigration consultants are now instructing international students on how to fraudulently file refugee claims to avoid deportation. This is, again, where it's not necessarily just deportation that Canada needs. We need a new system. We need a system that doesn't have these loopholes, that people can't just say, well, I'm a refugee, so I'm filing for asylum and I get to stay in the country. I get $9,000 a month from your government through taxpayers, while your veterans, while your elderly are all told, too bad. There's no jobs for anybody. There's no houses for people to live in. They can come here and commit multiple crime. They're given bail, not jail. The list goes on. We need new laws that prevent this from happening. I always thought asylum meant that you're coming from a war-torn country or somewhere where you have to prove that it's so terrible you deserve to stay and flee. I mean, I can't go to the United States tomorrow and say I'm seeking asylum because Justin Trudeau is my prime minister. They won't allow it. Take a look at this video.
Hi, this is Kamal from On Immigration Services. Refugee applications. Some of the commonly asked questions. Number one, I am an international student in Canada, or I am on a postgraduate work permit. I am living in the country from past 5-6 years. Is it possible for me to file a refugee status inside Canada? Answer is yes, you can file refugee status inside Canada. The bigger question is, will my refugee application be approved? Yes, there is a possibility for your application to be approved if you are able to present a credible scenario stating that when you came to Canada at that time, there was no risk to your life. Circumstances changed. In the last 5 years, the way things have unfolded, there is a serious risk to your life if you leave Canada or if you enter your home country. We need to present proper, credible evidence as well. The second question I get asked, if I file refugee application, is it possible for me to get my permanent residency through any other pathway? Answer is yes and no. Yes, to the family sponsorship program. If you get married to somebody who is a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, you will be able to file your PR application under the family sponsorship program as a spouse, even though you have your refugee application in process. The next scenario is there is no option for you to file for PR through any economic pathway, which means like express entry, PNP, any other kind of immigration programs going on, except the spousal sponsorship application. You will not be able to file the application if you are on a refugee or if you claimed refugee status in Canada. For more information, if you feel like you might have some grounds which could help you claim refugee status in Canada, you can contact Man Immigration Services 416-826-0000.
Okay, we're not going to keep the whole phone number in there because who cares? This is terrible. This is, again, it's full-scale invasion. Well, we've been told to leave. Well, how can we stay? How can we find loopholes in order to stay and keep mooching off this country? Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, do not pass go. Do not collect $9,000. Get your bags packed and go home. You're coming from places in the world where there is no war. There is no threat on your life to go home. You just simply want to stay here and take advantage of a system that our government has allowed for them to take full advantage of over its actual citizens. We have to jump on the wagon and support Pierre when it comes to Canada first. It's high time somebody started saying it. And what else I want to point out, since it's high time people started saying it, Friday night, you guys chimed in on the live stream. You said you wanted Canada First merch. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is now available in our shops. We have two designs to choose from. This one here, as well as the second one over here. They're both on sale during Black Friday. For anybody who's shopping for Christmas gifts, anybody who wants to make the statement, we have stickers, we have mugs, we have everything designed over there for you guys. Again, just hit the shop button down below the video. It'll take you straight to Unacceptable Fringe's merch store. You can pick those up. All Canada First merchandise that is purchased between now and Christmas. We are going to actually take a portion of those proceeds, a large portion of those proceeds, to help local veterans in need. So make sure you put Canada first this Christmas. Go order your merchandise over on our Shopify. You can also find the link in the video's description. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think. Do you think immigration needs to be handled swiftly? Do you think Pierre needs to do more than just ensure that those 5 million supposed temporary refugees or temporary workers go home? Do we need tougher laws in Canada? That's the question of the day today. Let me know what you guys think down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're hitting that bar, you click your bell for notifications. Join me live again here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we go over everything that's happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as your Q&A in those streams. I look forward to chatting with you with my wife every single Friday here on the channel, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.